Hello, my friends. This is Veronica Valley, and I am here today for day two of Sober Truth Bombs. I'm going to be teaching you my 10 Sober Truth Bombs in 10 days. Give me just 2 seconds while I share this into my group. Great. And then go live on Instagram, because today I think you're really going to like this one. It can really, 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 really help you. Hey, Instagram people. Today, I'm Veronica Valley, and I'm going to be talking to you today about one of my 10 Sober Truth Bombs. So the truth bomb today is, if I'm okay with me, I don't have to make you wrong. So let me just tell you what a Sober Truth Bomb is. A Sober Truth Bomb is something that's just so like, you can't ignore it. It's like, oh my God, you can't unknow it and you can't unsee it once you have this information. And that's what I want to do with you over the next 10 days. So make sure you tune in, check out the video section. There'll be memes posted every day on Instagram and Facebook, and you can check out the video on Instagram and Facebook if you miss it. Each day, I'm going to be giving you a 10 Sober Truth Bomb. And these are things that I have really got, that have just are foundations in my sobriety and have got me to 19 years of sobriety. And this is a big one. If I'm okay with me, I don't have to make you wrong. Excuse me, I have a cold, so don't want my nose to run live on air. So how does this work? Now, this is one of the Sober Truth Bombs that when you first hear it, you're going to be like, huh? Now, how this works is, and a lot of what I'm going to be teaching is about how everything comes back to, we are responsible for the experience we want to have. And I actually think that's one of the Sober Truth Bombs that's coming up. So when other people disturb me or bother me or do stuff that just irritates me, gets under my skin, it just makes me uncomfortable, it makes me resentful, it makes me dissatisfied. And what most of us do is we start making the other person wrong. He's doing this, she's doing that, she's doing it this way. Can you believe what they said? They said it like this. And what happens is we fall into this pattern of thinking. It's a mindset of blame and that you are wrong. And if you weren't doing these things, then I would feel okay. And the only reason I don't feel okay, the only reason I feel resentful and uncomfortable and dissatisfied, etc., is because you're doing these things or saying these things. So I need you to not do those things, and then I'll feel okay. And that, my friends, is not how it works. Because we have no control over other people, and it's incredibly frustrating, not to mention impossible, trying to get other people to say or do what we want them to say or do. So I'll give you an example of how this works in my own life. I remember when I had my first son, and I was blessed with children that didn't sleep. So for the first few months of my first son's life, I was just a walking train wreck, exhausted, just getting through the day, looking after my child. And I wasn't doing any of the things that I had done up until that point. And I was probably about 11 years sober at that point, that had maintained my mental health and my equilibrium and my well-being. I just stopped doing everything because I was so exhausted and consumed with this baby. And I rationalized this to myself because I rationalized, like, it's not like I'm doing anything. It's not like I'm working. I'm just, home, and I just see my husband and I see my son, and, that's fine. Like, when my life kind of gets busy again, that's when I have to start doing stuff to maintain my mental health, my equilibrium, and my well-being. And what happened when my son was a few months old, my husband started irritating the hell out of me. Everything he did, everything he said, the way he changed the diaper, I can't believe he did it that way. I can't believe he got that for dinner. I can't believe the way he put the stuff in the fridge. I can't believe, etc., etc., etc. As soon as, and my husband's lovely, I just want to say he's lovely. As soon as I start making other people wrong, it's the biggest red flag that there is something up with me. And after a little while of doing this, I saw it. I saw it. I saw just these things he was doing that was so irritating. Usually those things don't bother me. That's the thing. When I'm okay with me, what other people do, no matter what they do, I just have the way I'm able to react to that, the way that I'm able to deal with that is, it's just very easy. I'm able to have an appropriate emotional response. I'm able to just not be affected. But as soon as other people start affecting me, then I know I'm not all right. And there's the red flag. There's the indication that you need to do a little bit of work on yourself. So here's what happens. As soon as I saw that and realized I'm not okay because I'm blaming my husband for like 300 things in a day, I realized that I need to take care of myself, that it wasn't enough to just get through the day I've been getting through. And I went back and I did the things that I'd done up at that point for years and years and years that just keeps me at a really level place, keeps me really emotionally balanced. And I went back to doing that. Within 2 weeks, I felt dramatically different. So this is massive in recovery if you're getting sober, because if you've listened to any of my stuff, you'll know I teach over and over and over that alcohol is not the problem, that it's your thinking and the way you feel that's the problem. So you'll stop drinking, and then sure as hell, let me tell you, I can assure you, a whole bunch of people are going to come along and piss you off. That's just going to happen. And we actually have to learn new ways to deal and be and show up in the world, because blaming and making other people wrong and moaning and taking people's inventory and complaining and all of that kind of stuff, you know what comes of all of that? What comes of all of that is you get more uncomfortable in your own skin. You know, and I want to also say this, there's something quite seductive, right? There's something quite seductive about self-righteous anger and blame. And do you notice how we feed these stories when someone asks, like, oh, like, how's your husband adjusting to the new baby? Oh, well, you won't believe what he did. Oh my God, let me tell. And we go off into our story and the other person's listening, and we're fueling our self-righteous anger that this person, it's this person. And if this person did this thing differently, then I would feel okay. That's how we give our power away, guys. We want to get our power back by taking responsibility for how we feel and taking responsibility to making the changes that we need to make to other people don't affect me in the way that they used to. So another way this used to show up in my life is with my mother, who can be very indecisive. And that would be the thing that I would just get bent out of shape about her indecisiveness. And if I start making her wrong, it means there's something not right with me. When I work on myself, my mother can continue with her indecisiveness, and I can just give her the dignity to be who she is and let her have that process until it reaches its conclusion and we eventually make a decision about whatever it is that she's trying to decide over. This is really, you know, that grace was given to me by other people, where people gave me the dignity to be who I was. And that's what we get when we stop making other people wrong. We actually give people their dignity to be who they are through their process and have you know, their own experience. It's not our job to correct people. It's not our job to tell people what's wrong with them or they should do things differently. Most people are doing the absolute best they can in any given moment with the tools they have available. And the only thing I have control over is my emotional life. So a couple of questions. So Mary's asked, is a lot of this behavior the fear of being vulnerable? You know what, Mary, I don't think it is necessarily. What I'm going to say is I think it's much, much easier to make other people wrong than take responsibility for changing and growing ourselves. I think that it's seductive, and I also think there's some kind of pleasure in feeling that we have the higher moral ground, that it's this self-righteousness, that we are better than someone I can't believe they're doing it that way. I can't believe they're saying that way. You know, any given day you catch me at the wrong moment and you'll see me messing up, and you could say the same thing about me. So I don't think it's necessarily about vulnerability. I just think that we choose the easier option of blame and self-righteousness, because growth and looking at yourself, it's uncomfortable, but oh my God, it's so rewarding. So as I've gone through my 19 years of sobriety, I know as soon as I start feeling uncomfortable in my own skin and I start blaming other people, got to stop, red flag, can't do that. I just know that that's a road to nowhere. It's a road to nothing changes. It's just a road to nowhere. And I know that I have to make some changes. So thank you for listening today for today's Sober Truth Bomb. Join me tomorrow. You can check out the video. I'm not going to post the time because I'm just jumping on randomly. But if you check the video section in any of my Facebook groups or Facebook page or on Instagram or my stories, then you will find the next Sober Truth Bomb. I am opening up applications for a very small women-only group coaching program that starts at the end of August. It's a 4-month program. We have group coaching sessions and personal coaching sessions, and it's only for 5 women. If you are interested in working with me and doing this work to make these changes to get to the place where you have an amazing sober life, then please apply by clicking on the link and booking an appointment on Instagram. If you go into my bio, you should be able to book one there, or you can just message me. I think I have about 3 or 4 places left. That's going to be starting in a couple of weeks. It's a real container where you get to do the transformational work that you need to do to get sober and stay sober. So I hope you'll think about joining me. See you tomorrow.